Father never let me leave you, harder for the race to end, and then it came through a needle. Treasure up there, don't rush. So I run it up, gotta rep Jesus.
Hi y'all, it's your girl Javaria, and I am here with my denouncement video. For those who don't know, I am a former member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and I denounced back in November 2023, and here is my denouncement video. Back in the day, I really never ever wanted to do one of these type of videos. I just want to, denounce in peace and go on by my business. But God has convicted me to go ahead and tell my story. So here I am. Before this video starts, I just want to say, if anyone is offended or you're simply not ready, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. I'll still pray for God to succeed in your life and for you to be great. There's no hate, just love and light over here. God convicted me to do this video, so I'm going to do it. In Genesis 50 verse 20, it says that what you intended to harm me, God made it for good and made it for just a time as this to set lives free. And that's what I'm here to do. When you're strong, they never want you to speak, especially when it comes to setting souls free. It just is what it is. So I'm here to unveil the truth. And if you have tuned into this video, you clicked on this video, then the seed is already set in your spirit. You've already sowed the seed and you came here for a reason, whether it was to argue or be enlightened. Either way, peace and light to you. So let's get into it. Okay, so as I stated before, this is my denouncement video / journey, and I am a former member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. A lot of people might be like, oh, well, that's different, but this goes for sororities, fraternities, Freemasonry, all of that, because they all tend to have some of the same roots, So I'm gonna hop right in. So my story is a tad bit different. I actually grew up in the organization. When I was 14 or 15, I was inducted into the little sisterhood called the Rower Club. And when I was about 16, we were preparing to go to Boule. For those who don't know what Boule is, it's like a big conference where like everybody in the organization, they meet up and they show off their stuff. And we were preparing to do the scrapbook, and I got a once-in-a-lifetime call to go be in an off-Broadway show in New York, which was the same weekend as Boule. So I'm like, oh my God, because I had always been like a voice or like a good performer and good presenter. So I was like, dang, like, oh my God. So everybody was getting their stuff together. I was upset about it, but then I had really got over it because Boule was a weekend and I went to New York for a week. It was my first time flying. So fast forward to when I was 20. I didn't even realize that when I was 16 that God was rerouting me and redirecting me. I just was like, I got a good opportunity. But fast forward, when I was 20, I had transferred to a new university, and my RA was a SGRHO. So when I was 16, the seed was planted of the organization, but I had just whatever. I didn't, So I'm like, dang, okay, I see them. Not even knowing that this was the organization that the exact chapter that I had grew up in and everything. I'm not even thinking, because I still live in the same city. So I'm like, okay. Then I had another SGRHO that was in my class, and she was plus size. She was beautiful. She was a wild card. Kind of reminded me of myself at the time. So I'm like, okay, the seed was planted again. Like at this point, it was watered. So they had a bake sale, and I had bought one of the things, and I followed them on Instagram, and I had forgot about it. Months go by, they're trying to do an interest meeting for them to put out a new line, and it happened to pop up on my Instagram, and I'm like, when I started following them, because mind you, I forgot. So I'm like, dang, when I started following them, but I'm like, I'm just go check it out and see what's going on, So I do that, and I made the decision to join. I even put it on my vision board, y'all. Like, that's how dedicated I was. And I was like, I'm going to get the money to join. I'm going to do all that. So, fast forward, I'm in, y'all. And I'm going through my process. And here go another red flag, y'all. It felt like everything possible that you could think of for a line not to come out was happening to the line. And I'm just flying over the red flags, y'all. We had a freeze. Lights got knocked out. We couldn't communicate with each other. It was COVID protocol. It was just so many turns. And I'm like, dang, what's going on? But I'm not thinking like, oh, this must be a sign for me not to involve myself. This must be a sign for me not to be in this organization. No, I'm not thinking about that at all. So I'm just like, I do it. So fast forward to me being in it for about a month, and we are fresh out. Y'all, I open up my YouTube, and this video of this girl who Instagram page is Peculiar Addison. I hope I'm saying that right. And it said Denouncing SGRHO. Y'all, I ain't been in an organization back then for a whole month, so I'm like, what? Mind you, I had never even looked up anything SGRHO based on my YouTube. I had never looked up denouncing, never thought of denouncing. And it popped up. So I'm just like, the devil is busy. Look, the devil is busy. So I swipe it off. Like, I'm like, I ain't trying to deal with that. Y'all, tell me why every time I clicked on the YouTube app, that girl video kept popping up. Boom, the thumbnail. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, okay. So I just put it in my watch later. And I had mentioned it to my sister, and I had mentioned it to my old best friend at the time. And I was like, y'all, I think that might be a sign for me to denounce. And they was like, are you sure? Like, girl, you just got in, you done spent your money, and like, you know, you ain't got a huge feel of it in your adulthood of what the organization is. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm gonna give my money's worth. I'm gonna give it a chance. Like, I'm not just gonna hop right out. Hold on, y'all. So y'all, it has spooked me. So I'm like, dang. And I put it in the back of my mind, why all hell start breaking loose? And I'm like, man, the devil is busy. Not even knowing that it's God steady showing me signs to get out, get out, get out. But I'm like, ain't nobody gonna run me out no organization. I'ma stay down, I'ma stay true. And a lot of people that was bringing the problems, they was finna graduate. So I was like, they gonna graduate, and you know, we gonna step up. Child. And another red flag that I should have known, but I was so blind, y'all. I was so blind. But like I said, when I was 16, I was performing, and I was a performer all through high school and college as well. Like, I was in theater on the debate team, whoop-de-whoop. So, y'all, tell me why, no matter how active I tried to be, no matter how committed I tried to be, something always came up. And I really just thought that it was a coincidence or something, or like, you know. But even when it came to remembering things, this should have been my red flag. But look at me. It was not. I'm looking over everything. I think I'm at Six Flags, I guess. So I could not remember nothing. Y'all, the founders blocked, mind blocked. Like, God was blocking my mind, like, as if this was a temporary thing, and like, you ain't gonna be with these people that long. But I didn't know that at the time, so I was really beating myself up, because I'm like, yo, I'm the girl that go to competition and spit 7 pieces in different categories in her sleep. Like, that's what I was known for, being a performer, you know, doing all that. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. And so I fall back, and I end up becoming the person that runs the social media page, and they got like a little name for it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just make flyers and run a social media page. I ain't gonna be in all that, you know. Wait a minute. So y'all, a year goes by and I'm going through my watch laters, clearing them out because I had so many in there, and yeah, so I'm clearing them out. Remember when I told y'all about that I put Peculiar Addison's denouncing video in my YouTube watch laters? So I'm like, okay, what? So I took it out, but it was noted in my mind, y'all. Fast forward, fast forward. A new line come out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't no Neo no more. I'm big pro. I'm ready. Plus the girl who what they call a club, she could dress. I liked her. I knew her before and never even knew that she wanted to be an SGRHO. She was gonna be online, whatever. I was just like, she cool. I'm excited. I done bought gifts. Like, I'm ready. Y'all, I go to induction. So when I was inducted, we had COVID protocols, so it wasn't like the normal whatever wooty woo. I was at my house, but for theirs, it was in person. So I went, and y'all, like instantly, like I had a out of body experience when stuff was going on. Like God convicted me right there in the room, and I'm looking around at everybody like, okay, like y'all don't feel that, like y'all don't think this is weird, what's going on is weird. And y'all, I was so like disturbed spiritually, and mind you, at this time I wasn't even in church like that. Like, yes, my mama is the church lady and all that, but I was in them streets, so and I had a whole nother lifestyle. So I but I felt God. Like, I felt God moving me and having me feel like spiritually overwhelmed in the room. And I'm like, y'all don't feel weird? Y'all don't think this what's going on is crazy? And I heard one of my old line sisters say, like, nah, I wish we had this experience. And I was like, I don't wish none of this to go. Because I wouldn't say that I was a prideful person, but I've always had dignity about myself. I always had confidence about myself. Like, I've always had that sense of, okay, you gonna respect me. But, y'all, not to get off track. But, y'all, I couldn't shake the feeling. Like, even when I left, like, I couldn't shake the feeling. And I had called my mama, but I didn't say too much because they always tell you, like, if that person's not in the organization, like, don't say too much. So I didn't really say too much because nobody in my family was affiliated. At least no one that I knew of at that time. So later on in that year, I didn't go to Centennial. I didn't go to TGP. And even as time went on, I didn't go to regional. Y'all, so I didn't even go to regional conference. It was on a cruise that year. But I was like, y'all going to Mexico, whatever. Like, God kept bringing excuses in my mind of me not to go to everything. And I didn't think nothing of it. I just was like, I don't want to be bothered by the organization. It's a lot of women, whatever. Just psyching myself out, not even knowing that it was God that was keeping me. Every time there was like a big meetup for the organization, God was like, nope. Especially if it was a meetup where it was over a day's time period, or if it was like I had to stay overnight and sleep somewhere. Nope. And at first, I thought like maybe it's a financial thing, or maybe I'm just not feeling right socially or something. Let me tell you something. God will put a hold on your finances if you don't learn or listen to what he's talking about. He will. And what's so crazy is I could have made one phone call and I could have had all the sponsored funds. I could have had all the resources because, like I told you, I grew up in the organization. So I knew a lot of people that were like, they're in big positions, high positions. I knew them personally. I had their phone numbers. I done been over these people's house. My sister done did these people's hair. Like, it was so much. And God was like, nope, you ain't going to be able to use nothing because I want you to get up out of this. But I didn't know that at the time. Hold on. Y'all, so like I was saying, even when it came to receiving scholarships or applying for jobs through them, God was like, no, He wouldn't allow them to have any hand in my success or any monetary value in my life. He was just closing door, closing door, closing door. I'm like, dang, what is going on? But y'all, that stuff is so much bigger than what you think. Like, even when it comes to recruiting process, baby, before I was on my way out, and this is the difference between me and a lot of people. When I was in that organization, baby, I did the top of the top. I was over the social media page. I made their flyers. I was Miss SGRHO before I got out. I was the top recruiter. I did 7 letters of recommendation before I got out. I'm telling you, like, it's not that I was a nobody or I got into it with somebody or whatever. Baby, I was in good standing. I was well loved. Everybody loved me. I was people favorite pro. I was a lot of people favorite pro. A lot of people talked to me personally, and when I got out, everybody was like, dang, like, people really thought I lost my mind. But really and truly, baby, my eyes was open. I really found my mind. Because I was skipping and hopping all over the red flags. But we're going to come back to that, you know? So, yeah, when it comes to recruiting and stuff, they always tell you to replace yourself ×2. And what you don't know is numbers matter in these organizations. When it comes to recruiting people, it's almost in a thing like, how many lost souls can you bring as a contribution for the price of money and fame? You are selling your soul to be in this organization. When we had a little chance like, all of my love, my peace and happiness, I'm going to give it to you. You say you're going to give it to that organization. No, you need to be giving that to God. And a lot of y'all are not married because you're married to this organization. Even when it came to SGRHO, they had the popular poem, My Sister's Keeper. If you go back with your mind wide open, y'all, and read that, it says that you're going to die for your sister. Like, if one of y'all die, everybody die. What she knows, I know. Baby, what? Die? Like that little boy on that meme. Die? No, ma'am. And when you sing those songs and chants, like, it's so much deeper than what you think, baby. You're literally giving that organization and everything that's attached to that organization in the shadows, you're giving that rule, reign, and dominion over you and everything that pertains to you. You're not married because you're married to that organization. You stagnant and you're not happy and you're not feeling fulfilled because of that organization. And it seems like everything that you think is peace and happiness or on the up and up, it has something to do with this organization. Whatever organization, whether it's a sorority or a fraternity. It sounds like I was going to start speaking Spanish. Hold on, y'all. When it comes to having legacies in organizations, that's the cycle continuing. Somebody done made a demonic covenant with this organization, and your contribution is your children. Your contribution is whoever you bring into the organization, and you giving your money as a sacrifice. You giving your life as a sacrifice to this organization. Think about it. A lot of y'all tend to pay y'all dues way more than y'all pay y'all tithes. And that's not to talk stuff about you, because it even says in the word that God's people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. I lack knowledge. I was blind for a very long time. But now that I see, baby, I'm coming through to make sure that a lot of souls are freed. Like, I'm serious. I went through it. I lived it. I've been through it. And it wasn't nobody back then to help me. It really wasn't. But I went through it so people like you don't have to go through it. And if you done made it this far in this video, then kudos to you. Because I'm really about to enlighten you on a lot of things. Like, when you join these organizations, you are lost. I don't care what anybody says. You were lost when you joined that organization. Whether you was looking for friendship, you was looking for brotherhood, sisterhood, you was looking for a place to belong, you were looking for community. You were a lost soul. You were one of the things that were contributed to the organization. And you've bounded yourself to things that are way bigger than the surface of what you see. Don't be blinded by all this social media, or you strolling, the drinking, the partying. Everywhere you go, you seem like you're a celebrity. Everybody got the camera in your face, the spotlight on you. Because I love the attention. That's what took me so long to get out. When God first kept dropping little nuggets like, hey, you need to denounce. Go ahead, denounce. But I wasn't ready until I was. And when I was, man, y'all, let me tell you, it's like when you get knowledge of something or you get put on game about something, oh, the enemy don't like that. Or they don't want you to speak. When you strong, oh, they don't want you to speak, especially when it comes to souls being set free. Oh, he a problem. Uh-oh, she a problem. That's what it is. Hold on, I'm going to come back. So as I was saying, you basically selling your soul to this organization. Think back about your process. I'm telling you, think back about your process. The same people who demeaned you, treated you like trash, talked to you like you were beneath them or a second-class citizen. The same people, because some of y'all got physically abused. Baby, I ain't never been touched. But, you know, that's not my testimony to tell. Some people, I know they have been. And, you know, a lot of people sat back and watched things happen. They knew it was wrong. And it's not of God to be treated that way. Nor is it to be branded like you're an animal. That's not of God. It's not. And those same people, after you got in the organization, they was like, oh, it's just tough love. Like, you know, we was trying to see if you had what it takes to do it. Them be the same people that you be hanging with every day. That's your big sister. That's your big bro. Oh, this is your motherly figure in the organization. So going through trauma to be accepted into an organization by people who operate like worldly gods, lowercase g, because that's how they walk around campus. When you get in these organizations, there's so many rules like, oh, you can't talk to everybody, you're not yourself no more, you're not an individual, everything you do is to this organization, and blah, 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 blah. You can't hang out with so-and-so, you can't talk to so-and-so because you sat on this pedestal as if you're above everybody. Y'all. And that thing always used to make me sick to my stomach. It really did. Because I was somebody before I joined the organization, and I've always had a big heart. I've always been about community, and acting that way, I just knew that wasn't of God at all, and it wasn't cool. So I never moved on that, you know, level, but I never said anything, or I never really spoke up for real either. And, you know, that was my fault. But you sacrifice your time, your money, and your life for these organizations. And literally saying those pledges and chants is you going into ungodly covenants with that organization and the things that are attached to it. You're opening up doors to the enemy. An example is, like I said earlier, the All of My Love chant, the My Sister's Keeper poem. That's you literally giving rule, reign, and dominion over everything that pertains to you to that organization. And I know a lot of y'all is going to be mad about that comment I made about marriage, but be for real. Take a look at the organization. Everybody who in that organization, a lot of people ain't married. And if they are married, it's not a godly marriage. It's very open, or it's very demonic. It's a lot of stuff going on. And that ain't my business to speak on, you know. But I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Think about it. Take that into account. Especially when God ain't running your house You barely running your house because this organization running your house. You give so much time and money and your whole entire life to this organization to keep up a status, to keep up with things that are of the world. And that's why when I gave up the organization, a lot of people, they thought I was stupid. They thought I was crazy. Because I saw past all of that. None of that ever really mattered to me. And y'all, when you first get in, they always tell you, oh, remember, this is a lifetime commitment. Are you sure this is a lifetime commitment? And for people who know about witchcraft and stuff like that, or the spirit, excuse me, you know that they always tell you like little things, so it's like you knew and it's not your fault. But what people really don't know is when you get in these organizations and you enter into that demonic covenant, what you don't know is, because you're blinded by, oh, the community service, oh, you're blinded by, oh, I get this sisterhood, this brotherhood, blah, 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 blah. When you just bind yourself to everything that's attached to this organization. And they have scriptures and rituals and all these things that are bent to the organization. Like, I know every organization, y'all got scriptures that y'all say in that organization, and they switch out a lot of stuff to make it fit the organization. Even there's a part where they say something about being a beacon of light, just like how it says in the Bible, but they saying that about the organization. Y'all. And God revealed this to me, and my mouth was like, what? Y'all know how when everybody's strolling in a circle, whatever, at parties, and I remember one time, I just stood back. It was dark outside. I just stood back and I was watching everybody stroll. And it was like, it got silent, but all I could hear was like the sounds of like, you know, everybody's sound. And so like I was saying, yeah, it's like you signing a contract and you selling your soul, but you ain't read that fine little print right there. It's that small print that's like, ah, yeah, they got you for life. That's why it's a lifetime commitment. And I even remember one time when I went to a party. It was dark outside, and everybody was just like jam-packed in the middle of the party, and everybody was strolling around. And I had like an out-of-body experience because I didn't hop in the line. I was just watching everybody. Y'all, literally, when the music dims down and you hear everybody saying like they roll call little sound, and everybody got their hand signs up and stuff, y'all, it low-key look like a little cult. It looks very occultic. And that's not even me reading too much into it. You just gotta like, now that it's been put in your conscience, you're gonna be thinking about it. But y'all, you saying sounds and throwing up hand signs that, and doing secret handshakes that sound and mean different things, and it's calling upon deeper things. Like, y'all, I hate to be childish, but this the only example I could think of. Y'all know how on Princess and the Frog, when they made that agreement with the Shadow Man, that's literally how it is, bruh. When you get in these organizations and you know you signing all these bylaws and all this stuff when you get in, and then you have your induction and all that, and literally you think it's all cool beans and everything. Oh yeah, everybody gonna know my name on campus, I'm gonna be fresh out, whoop-de-woo. But it's like, dum dum dum, are you ready? Dum dum dum. Like, yo, baby, you done signed your life over. And it's like, dang, let the games begin. Because what would you really do for the price of money and fame, bro? And everybody be talking about the industry, but don't nobody want to be talking about their precious sorority, fraternity, Freemasonry. They don't ever want to talk about that. And I got a question. Do you have a place in your apartment house, whatever, where all your organization stuff is like put up in a corner? It's probably in frames, probably got a little thing. I used to have a pillow in a scrapbook and all that stuff. And it was pushed off to the side in a nice little corner, nicely decorated. And because nobody in my family was affiliated or anything, I didn't allow nobody to touch it. Like, I was like, oh no, you can't touch that. Because it's bigger than you. Crazy. So, y'all, do you know that's a demonic altar? That's literally a physical demonic altar. And you probably like, I ain't worshiping it. Like, I'm not praying to it. Baby, you invest in that organization. You give your life and your time to this organization. It's a demonic altar. That is your worship to it. Yeah. Especially at these big conferences and these big meetups, everything that's on the itinerary, everything is so strategical with everything. And it's like, to a blind eye, you just thinking like, oh, this just how stuff goes. It's been like that. It's tradition. These traditions were created in a very precise way. Even with calling yourself Greeks, like, technically Greek gods. Like, come on now. You carry yourself around like a god. Oh, you can't sit with me. Oh, da 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 da. And you might call it like, oh, I got boundaries, I got standards. Like, of course, this is a prestigious organization. Da 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 da. So let me know why they make you sign an NDA and all that stuff when you're trying to get out these organizations. Answer me that. Riddle me that. If this is just an organization and it's just regular elitism and stuff like that, why do people have to sign an NDA? Why is there so many things that you have to do to demean yourself before you're deemed worthy to be in these organizations? So a lot of people may be thinking like, well, if you got all this to say about the organization, then why didn't you get out sooner? Baby, I wasn't ready. I didn't want to. I was definitely caught up in the party, and I love the community service. Like, I always used to volunteer. I've been volunteering since I was in 6th grade for nonprofit organizations. So, being in the community was like easy for me. And I grew up with one sister, but to have multiple sisters, like, I just love the vibes, and I like everything that was amongst the surface. But behind the scenes, because I would not give up this organization, man, I was going through turmoil. So we're gonna hop into the rest of the red flags before I denounce. So, y'all, I bet my angels was like, bro, this girl is still not getting out this organization. So let's turn everything up a notch. Y'all, God will never allow there to be peace in a situation that you're not meant to be in. You won't have no peace, baby. So let's now enter into my senior year, aka Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what I call it. My senior year of college was Sodom and Gomorrah. I decided I didn't just want to fall back and just run the social media page and make flyers and stuff. I decided that I wanted to be more involved, which, y'all, literally when I started being more involved, it was like I stopped hearing God, really and truly. Y'all, I didn't even think about church. I was an honorary member of Bedside Baptist, and I instantly got consumed in the lifestyle. Y'all, I had a whole new friend group. I was in the club Monday through Sunday. Not just with the organization or anything, but I'm just saying, like, and at this point, I wasn't Javaria anymore. In college, nobody really ever called me by my first name, first of all. But I wasn't just JT anymore. I was JTB SGRHO. Like, that was the name. Like, when people saw me, they was like, oh, that's that girl, she at SGRHO. She be putting that stuff on because I could dress. I was one of the best plus size dress ones there, okay? But that's neither here nor there. I ended up becoming Miss SGRHO. I was going to stroll practice, meetings, way more than church. I was paying dues faster than my ties. The sorority had pretty much became my personality, if I want to say that. Yeah. That's all you seen on my page. It just was what it was. That's what I was a part of, and that was low-key a part of me that I hated talking about back then. Like, if I was in other spaces, like on campus and stuff, like, yeah, I was JT the SGRHO. But when I went other places, I was like, I'm just JT. I just want to vibe. But everybody always came up to me asking me about it because, they want to join or they were interested in Greek life and da-da-da. And I ain't never been like the gatekeeping type of person. I always been straightforward people. Let me tell you what you finna get into in a sense. Hold on. So like I was saying, I always was never a gatekeeper. I was like, let me tell you a little bit of what you're about to get yourself into. So I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast, y'all. It just, that's how we talking. Yeah, so when it came to the organization, I really didn't like talking about that part of my life when I was in like social spaces because I was like, there's more to me than this organization, but that's all everybody saw. It felt like I had all these accolades and stuff, but they was like, bump that. We want to talk about that. Pro and con of it. So at the time. So when I was talking to this one girl, I had expressed to her that I hate how like being in a fraternity or sorority turns people against their morals. Like, people were literally willing to kiss your butt and forget about all their values about themselves just to join the organization. I was never with that. And I saw a lot of people change for the worse when they joined these organizations. They used to be charging people up for color combinations. Like, let's say you're not in a certain organization, but you got on this organization colors. They'll run up on you like, what's your tag? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, they was a colorful gang. Like, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. This is a free country. People can wear whatever colors they want to wear. But that's just how it was. And I had even mentally was crazy as well. Like, because I was an SGRHO, I was like, dang, I can't wear blue and white. They gonna think I'm a Zeta. Like, girl, ain't nobody worried about you. But anyway, yeah, but it was insanity at its finest. And it was a whole bunch of idolization going on. Like, a whole bunch of people wishing they was somebody. Like, basically, when you're Greek or involved in those organizations, people definitely idolize you and the lifestyle and everything that comes with it. But y'all, hopping back into the red flags. I'm sorry if it seemed like I'm just trying to get it all out in one video. So another red flag. This probably red flag number 6. Another line comes out, and I go to induction. I had all the qualifications. I told y'all I was very involved my last year in college. So another line comes out, and I knew a lot of girls that were, trying to be in, and I wrote a lot of letter of recommendations that year too. And I went to induction. Because no matter how hard I tried to be active in the process, even though I had all the qualifications, God was just blocking me like, nope, 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 nope. And y'all, I had made a fuss. I made a huge fuss because I was like, why y'all letting all the neos be in the process for the new neos and they barely been in the organization? Like, y'all, I was coming for them. Like, I was like, baby, and how you gonna do this little thing and you don't even know how to dress? You don't even represent the organization well. Like, Y'all made a big fuss. And when it was time for me to come through, God just was like, boom, nope. You ain't gonna be that deep in the process. So I'm like, okay. I got over it. And I ended up going to induction, y'all. The same exact feeling. Like, it was so eerie. It was like deja vu. And at this point, I'm like, nah. Like, I knew I wasn't tripping. Like, I knew I wasn't crazy. And after it was over, y'all, this is not funny. But after it was over, y'all, I hopped in the Uber so freaking fast. Like, ain't nobody even know I was gone. Because one thing about me, I'm not like no white girl in no scary movie or anything, falling and tripping, trying to warn everybody. Baby, I beat feet. Okay, beat feet. Cleared. Got up out of there. Everybody was asking where I was, where I was at. People was mad at me because I lived up the street from the university. So everybody was like, oh, you spending money on all these Ubers when, we're your sisters. Like, we're your sisters. Like, you don't have to do that. But I wasn't worried about none of that at all. So a month later, continuing to Sodom and Gomorrah, a month later, I had a nervous breakdown, y'all. Like, it's not even funny. I had a nervous breakdown, and nobody knew but the person that I was dating at that time. Even they couldn't help me. So, y'all, I got to a place where I yelled out to God because I was over it. I yelled out to God, and I was like, I don't want to live like this no more. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to live like this no more. And I really didn't know who could help me, what could help me. I felt so heavy. I felt so empty. I felt so dark. Like, God will get you to a place where you ain't got nobody to call on but him. Baby, and I did try. I tried everybody. I had called another friend, the situationship I was in. It was too late to call my family because it was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. Y'all. I thought my life was put together. I thought I was living a life that every college girl's dream. I was paid. I had jobs. I was a walking ticket. I was a walking ticket. I was in a sorority. I was drinking every day. Sex-wise, the relationship was good, even though it was toxic. I had 3 different friend groups in rotation. What else did I need? That's what I thought. But you know what I was missing? God. My relationship with God was really non-existent. Like, of course, when I had a test or when I got caught up in some mess, of course I knew how to pray and call on God. I knew how to do that. But when stuff was going good and I was vibing and stuff, nope. But when I look back, God was really there the whole entire time, hovering over the situation, just waiting on me to surrender and give up and be ready for him. So I used to do little stuff when I used to be out in the streets, like playing gospel while I'm doing my makeup, getting ready to go out and be ratchet. I used to play this battle ready prayer, all that. But I really didn't have a relationship with God where I could just talk to him on my own time. Like, I just was trusting on other people's prayers and stuff like that. So after that, it was graduation season. And y'all, my sister had spent so much money. I had spent money for, like, everybody love their graduation pictures and stuff like that. And I was in multiple organizations. And they both had like secret society vibes. And so I gave a tribute to each one. Like, I had a theme and I had outfits and stuff, whatever. Y'all, tell me why ain't none of my SGRHO pictures came out but one. And the one that came out, I got posted on Watch the Yard. I was one of the SGRHOs that got posted on there. And y'all, it just was like all the pictures was whack. Like I'm going through 300 pictures, and I really could tell you about 5 of them came out decent, but only one of them was an SGRHO picture. So I'm doggone there devastated because I'm like, what? So move on to graduation. Y'all, I was not in the mood on graduation day. I was not. It felt like nothing was going right. I was at my parents' house, and I drove out to graduation, and I went to graduation, made it through the ceremony, did my little kiki, and I left the ceremony immediately. Like, really, after my group came back to sit down, I was gone. I didn't stick around to sing in a circle. You know, everybody stay after graduation and do their little whoop-de-whoop with the sorority or the fraternity that they in or whatever. Y'all, I ain't take no pictures with nobody. I ain't sing with nobody. I was, okay, did the dash. So technically, before I denounced, I was already changing. God was already closing doors. I was already going into like a pre-isolation. I went from a 2-bedroom apartment to living with my parents, y'all. I went from having multiple jobs to not having no job offers with a bachelor's degree at that. Being socially involved and having all these friends, this roster of situationships and people I could always go back to. God was like, nope. And y'all, it was like my grandma died, my great grandma died. Like all this is happening. Like I graduated in May. June and July, I had so many fallouts with so many friends, and I didn't know what was wrong. It was like the smallest thing will make up for it, but God was like, nope. And I just was cutting people off. And I'm thinking like, bro, what's going on with me? But God was literally growing me and maturing me. Maturing me. And in August, my grandmother died. Then like early September, right before my birthday, my great grandma died. So I'm just like, God, is it me? Like, what's going on? And God wouldn't allow me to get a job with my bachelor's degree because all of the places that I was looking, all the places that I was looking at, they were deeply Greek affiliated, or I was using like, you know, my background of being an SGRHO and stuff like that, as well as, you know, the things I did for the organization to get the job. And God is like, nope, they will not be the stepping stool of your success. Like, you're not going to use them. You're going to start from scratch. And baby, that I ain't gonna say that about took me out, but I was like, what? Who? But yeah, God wouldn't allow me to use them for my success or get certain jobs because it would make me revert back to my old ways. And I had grown from that. Even though it was a couple months, I had grown from that. That wasn't me no more. That girl was dead. So, to others, it may seem like I lost everything. Like things that was supposed to break me down, make me give up and continue to just move on my own path and move in my own way. But nah, I started getting closer to God and my eyes was being open more and more every day. But y'all, even with all that going on, why I still held on to that organization? Yep. Yeah, I was still holding on real bad. So when I'm saying stuff like this and I'm speaking out about it, it's for me to be an inspiration to others, because whether you know it or not, it's people that's been looking for a way out. It's people who just needed that push. It's a lot of people who don't know. Like I said earlier, God's people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. And if you don't know a lot of things, you will constantly be led blindly to a road of destruction. It just is what it is. And I've been through the fire, and I mean just that. I have been through hell and back because I was disobedient. I didn't want to give up this organization. So finally, this probably like red flag number 9. Yeah, we gonna say that. This is red flag number 9. So even with all that, I was still holding on to SGRHO, searching for a community and etc. I went to a grad chapter, and it wasn't the one that I grew up in. It was another one in a like closer by city. Y'all, they were more of the story. We gonna say that they were not as welcoming as I thought they should have been. And they were a much smaller chapter than the chapter that I grew up in. And so I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to go to the chapter that I grew up in. So I turn around. I try to go into the chapter that I grew up in. And the atmosphere at one of their events was very much off for me. And God actually kept me. Like, even when stuff was going on and people was being weird, I was just like, okay. Like, because like I said, from jump, when I first saw the sign to denounce, I was like, anybody gonna run me out of no organization? I'm gonna stay down, like, whatever. And I knew my strengths as a person. Like, people naturally gravitate to me. I've never really met anybody that disliked me. I've always been a likable person. I could always adapt to a situation, whatever. So I didn't let that deter me either. So y'all, I'm literally running through these red flags, like 6 flags around here. Like, I'm like, baby, this Fiesta, Texas at this point. So, red flag number 10. My paperwork kept getting flagged. It kept being situation after situation with my paperwork. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Because I've been in the system since I was 16 years old. Because that's around the time when I first got in. When I was in the little sisterhood. So it was just so much. And I was getting weird phone calls. Because the other organization, well, the other chapter was mad. And want to know, like, why did I leave? Well, they weren't mad, but they want to know why I left. And I hurry up and switch to the other organization. They was like, we didn't even meet you like that. But lo and behold, I had went to one of their events. And that's one thing about me. Like, I never announce who I am or, you know, because I want you to treat me regular. No matter, like, you know, where I stand. You don't need to know who I am. I need to see how you treat the average person that walk through these doors, you know, to see if it's very authentic. But anywho, so they was weird and they was calling me and stuff. Moving on, homecoming at my university. At this point, this is my first homecoming as an alumni, and I come back and y'all, I had like stopped drinking and everything after I graduated and everything. Y'all, I went to homecoming and I fell into temptation, baby. That temptation was getting me. And I had saw some old situationships and it was like on and popping because I had left so many doors open. Because, you know, when you don't see people, it's like they out of sight, out of mind. You think you done got over these people. No, it was on and popping again. And I had saw the sorority, and it's like I floated past them, which is so crazy. Because everybody know when you come to homecoming, you check in with your organization. Y'all got your own tent. Like, it be, you know, you go up in the tent, you gonna eat, you gonna drink, you gonna do all that. But it's like I floated past them. And I was on my own. You know, I had my own motion. But I had came back around and everybody was like, oh, happy birthday, JT, da 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 da. I left that part out. My birthday was on homecoming, y'all. So it was real turn and lit for real. But it was like, what? I don't know what was going on with me. And that also was the last day to pay dues, and I had more than enough money. Baby, I had dogging there a bankroll walking through there because it was my birthday. And I had more than enough money, but God was like, nope, don't pay them dues. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just pay the late fee or whatever because it's my birthday. I ain't really too much worried about paying no dues right now. And people probably thought I was fake because I ain't really associate with the organization at all on homecoming for real. So God was changing me and cutting ties, and I didn't even know it. And I hope this is not too long, but yeah, I didn't even know it. So hold on. I'm gonna read y'all this scripture out the Bible. I'm gonna look. So if I'm looking down like that, it's because of my Bible right here. It says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And so with that being said, I just want to say that God will cut you. And when I say cut you, I don't mean literally, but he will cut off all your bad habits, your friendships, and your ungodly attachments and things of that nature, so you can be more fruitful and you can produce more fruit as well as be prosperous. So dang, it felt like I couldn't talk, but so you could be more prosperous. And it felt like stuff was getting cut off me left and right. Like I fell into temptation and instantly I went back into being with just me and God. Like we was here, it was just us two. Excuse me. And that time, everybody got cut off for real. Like, snip, 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 snip. No, bye. And it wasn't even that we was on bad terms or anything like that. It's just like people couldn't have the same access to me that they used to have. And it's still like that. Like, a lot of people can't be in my vicinity because I can allow things that they associate with and they're attached to enter into my spirit. And so even with y'all watching these videos, the seed is planted, and now you probably second guessing or thinking about stuff. But I always say, test the spirit, go to God about a word. Anything that you hear, go to God about it. And always protect your ear gates and your eye gates. So the things that you watch, it's important what you watch because those things are entering into your spirit. The things that you listen to, that's entering into your spirit. And y'all, okay, I'm walking with the full armor of God on. Like, I don't play no games with nobody. I'm gonna be straightforward. I'm gonna tell you what I think, and if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, then it's not. And some people might be so offended or like, oh, that's just that organization. I thought the same way. And so, enter into my denouncement story. Hold on.